Hello and welcome back to another MCU video. This time we were talking about the top 5 newcomers to the MCU Phase 4. Just before we start, make sure you put down your top 5 newcomers to Phase 4. Let us know who you were your standouts, who do you want to see next and what you kind of expect for them. Just put that down in the comments there and we'll try to reply to them and start a conversation. My number 5 pick is Karun from Eternals.
Who?
Who?
Who? My guy's listening Eternals, bro. Right,
No, the camera.
I know he ain't serious.
The camera dude, remember who was helping out?
Okay, calm.
I just think, look, I think he was an enjoyable
Make sure
addition.
you put a picture of that guy, because ain't no one know who you're talking about.
But I think he stands out in the film. I'm thinking about like who stood out, and I think he stood out in that particular film. I love the camera gag where like he was finding dude. He was like, "Did you get that?" It's like, "Yes, I did." I was like off to the side. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I like his loyalty and all that stuff. He was just funny. And like he was like, you know, number 5, something light.
My number 5, I have a real pick, because I'm kind of basing my list, at least. I'm basing it off just their introduction, like how good it was, and just kind of like going forward, how excited I am to see them. So for me, number 5, it has to be Moon Knight. Thing is, with Moon Knight, I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about the character himself, Stephen Grant, Mark Spector. I mean, just having like that kind of dynamic, having a kind of superhero with 2 personalities, potentially 3. Obviously, we know. I just think the way he came in and he took the MCU by storm, and it's not connected to anything, but it doesn't have to be. And just seeing him battle between themselves, seeing his eternal fight with obviously the Egyptian god. I just think it was really cool, and I just can't wait to see what's more from him. And I also think like the fact that we kind of have like a Batman equivalent in the MCU now is just so cool, and I hope they kind of play into that a bit more.
So my number 4 pick is Kang. Obviously his only real appearance is Loki finale and all that. I think it was like a fun tease of what's to come, and like just because it was like a one-shot sort of thing, it was a different type of it, which is why I respect. You kind of understand where he's coming from, where he's making these sort of necessary decisions to keep the timeline on the straight and narrow. But it was also so cool the way he kind of like went out and he was like, "See you soon," and a little wink, and then the tease with the sort of like what's gonna come. Got to put Kang in number 4.
My number 4 is Shang-Chi. Now, honestly, Shang-Chi was the first film, obviously a Phase 4 that actually was good, right? I mean, that's few and far between. But the character himself was just so interesting. I mean, seeing this guy who's just living a normal life, and the way he can fight, his rich history, his eternal struggle with who he should be, calling himself Sean, but his name is Shang-Chi. I remember that joke was quite funny. And I genuinely just think that Shang-Chi is honestly going to be such a main player. And I can't wait to see how he interacts with the rest of the Avengers, what kind of fights he's going to have, because again, he's just got his hands, and obviously he's got the rings as well, but I really hope they play into that martial arts aspect, and we have that kind of, maybe him and Daredevil one day, or even seeing him and Iron Fist one day. Cool. It just really excites me. So yeah, that's why Shang-Chi is like my number 4 newcomer to the MCU.
Okay. So my number 3 is Morbius.
Cut that, bro.
So I really liked his partnership with Loki. I think they had a fun dynamic. And when you have someone like Owen Wilson, the way he talks, that little like, like, wow. Like you kind of just, it just draws you to him. Like you want to listen to what he's saying, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The character was likable, and he was just enjoyable. I'm not really thinking about. I think sort of something about it the same way you are. I was like, oh, what comes next? He's gonna appear again, and in like a sort of altered universe type thing. So. It's intriguing.
Who are you? What's your name?
I don't know. That was so weird.
I like the way you're doing your list, because you're doing it in terms of who generally just stood out for you in Phase 4. And like, you're happy. I mean, to be fair, we're not going to see your number 5 again.
How do you have no... Bro, when he defeats Kang in freaking Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars...
I've got it.
When he records it and frames him...
My number 3 is Yelena. I really like Yelena, the new Black Widow.
Yelena?
Yelena. Cut that. I really like her. I think even she was such a standout in the first Black Widow film. She stood out more than Scarlett Johansson did. Maybe that was actually the intent. We finally have a Black Widow with a bit of personality, opposed to just, I'm talking like this, and Steve, you don't want to do this, Steve. You know what I mean? Like, Yelena's jokes, man. Like, even like the whole, superhero pose, or, please don't do that, you don't kill me, please. Like, it's a family, you threw to me, like, all that kind of stuff. And then, seeing in Hawkeye, especially, like, just that kind of dangerous side to her, that kind of assassin that we know she is, like, she's a really high skill set. I mean,
she even carried over that comedic sense with Kate Bishop with the mac and cheese
really
and all that
good
stuff.
Like, it's like all that kind of stuff, yeah. And now she's coming in Thunderbolts, and I think she'll be a standout in Thunderbolts. I think she's gonna have such a cool dynamic especially with Valentina. She's just gonna be that really whimsical, really funny, killer, assassin, kind of like a Harley Quinn equivalent,
Maybe.
but obviously not as crazy,
If
but
you've
just
seen
as
something-
dangerous.
If you've seen Killing Eve, then it might be something like that with like Villanelle and something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, no.
my number 2 is Shang-Chi. Again, kind of like you, I think it was a great addition. I'm more impressed with him because of the impact he had in this film and going forward. Like the action scenes, it's some of the best we've had in Marvel.
Yeah,
and like
sure.
that is down to him. Like the drama he was given in the first film, the conflict with his father, his sister, and all that.
His personality as well, man.
Yeah, and also when you look at the leads that we've had kind of recently, more with Thor, they've become kind of jokey, with the Ant-Mans. They've become really like messy around the Chris Pratt
Even
Star
Doctor
Lords.
Strange to an extent.
Yeah, so like it was nice having a dude who just had this normal conflict and he treated it with the weight that it was meant to be treated with, and it felt nice.
You
So
can
I
be funny, but also take things very seriously.
Yeah, like,
You know what
and
I mean?
I think they wrote that really well with his movie. So I kind of appreciate what they did with his character. Again, what he's going to be doing in the future, like you said, the bangles and all the 5 rings.
Bangles!
I swear you called them bangles.
When I call them bangles, but you got no proof. I think he's Shang-Chi generally like. There's a reason they've introduced him in movie format as well. Like he's not like going to be like a She-Hulk or even like a.
He'll probably end up being on New Cap in terms of like they all form around him.
I think he'd be more of like a kind of like an Ant-Man,
I don't see that
because Ant-Man was really important.
Move on to your next pick.
No, but Ant-Man's really important.
Number
Right?
two.
No, but Ant-Man's really important. when it
Number
comes
2.
to-
I spoiled it.
My number 2 is, and to be fair, I'm pretty sure this will be on most people's lists. I feel like if it's not on your list, you're probably not even like a proper fan. Namor himself, bro. This guy has been teased since Iron Man 2, and he's everything that you'd want him to be. He's a dangerous leader. He's basically Killmonger if Killmonger had a group of people behind him, a whole kingdom behind him. You know what I mean? Like he's so interesting, and the way he's so powerful as well. People saying he has the same strength as the Hulk, which I mean I don't know if that's true or not, but he's definitely a dangerous player. I can see him having a lot of conflict with the Avengers in the future. I can also see him being the cause of potentially a second civil war, which is something we can get into at another time. But I just think him as a player in the game, Phase 4 really didn't introduce many strong players into the universe, but they've introduced Namor, and he is here to stay, and he's here to say some really big things about what he feels about the world.
Surface World Split in particular.
For sure, and he could lead some really interesting storylines, even like a conflicting storyline where he doesn't want to help maybe against Kang, and he could be what turns the tide against Kang, seeing all the people from Talokan. Yeah, turns the tide. You see that pun, yeah? Come on. That's wordplay. You don't get that kind of shit on other channels.
Moon Knight's my number 1. I think, again, like you were saying, the conflict between Mark Spector, Stephen Grant was great. The reveal through the whole show and how they really played out that drama of the trauma that they experienced, which created each other and everything like that. And I think the fact that this character still has more to give in terms of personalities with what, Jake Longley's his name?
Jake Lockley, I believe.
Lockley or something like that.
Longley. Bro, this guy calls himself
okay. Do you remember what we cut out?
Stephen. I'll do that again because I don't know his name.
Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. Yeah, the whole thing that there's more to see from him, that there might be more personalities, how his conflict with the Egyptian god goes and
This guy
everything
could be
like
his own
that.
Avenger team, bro.
Yeah, you could just be switching in and out. You never know.
It's very insensitive, bro. That's a disease.
Again, you said the line. You had to you're gonna put some voiceover on me. No, but yeah, he's an interesting character, and I think his show really showcased that. His action scenes were cool as well. There's also that darker side.
I think
to
they
him.
could have done more.
Probably.
They could
have
so
done more
much
of all these characters, but they had that darker
Not no
side.
more.
Shut up. They had that darker side to him and everything. So I just really enjoy his character. I'm looking forward to what he does next.
What do you think happens next for Moon Knight? What would you want his next step to be?
I think you could actually have an interesting crossover with different characters where
Which
they're
ones?
they don't know how to handle him. You
Yeah,
have the
of
blades. You have maybe even the dudes from Eternals with the whole blade thing. I don't know what they're doing, the sword thing. I don't know what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
But I think they might be doing a Midnight Suns or whatever. So.
But yeah, no, I agree with that being a number 1. In sense that you as a character, you're excited for him. You're happy that he's in. For me personally, he's at my number 5 just because he is that. Like the fact that based off my criteria, he shouldn't even be on my list, right?
I guess.
But he is. That's how cool I find his character. That's how much I'm excited to see him. It's just for me personally, I'm not as excited to see him next. Because to be fair, I don't know where he fits in. He's a very street level superhero.
Exactly, that's the intrigue. Like,
but we
he's such
have
a wild
ours.
card
Yeah,
that
yeah, he's
you
a
chuck
wild
him in
card.
anywhere, he's gonna have an impact. What's
Yeah.
with your list? But you know, do your number one in it.
Like, I criticize my list when you included the cameraman from Eternals, bro.
Bro, will you see what he does next? I have him on call. He was telling me.
Oh, shut up, bro. It's dead joke. My number one. To be fair, look, it is a bit obs, but and it's interesting because technically it shouldn't even be like we didn't see much of him. He didn't get his own show, nothing. But it's Kang the Conqueror. The reason why, and you have him on your list as well, and you kind of quite high up. But the reason I have him as my number one is one, we know this guy's coming, but I love the way that they introduced him. I love the way that we saw a very funny. What the version of Kang that people thought the MCU would give. This very funny, oh yeah, look at me, I'm making jokes, but I'm dangerous. Like, when I started seeing it, I was like, oh, not another MCU villain who's just jokey. Like Loki. Like, he's actually, like, meeting a nice Thanos before we see the real Thanos. He's like a nice version of him. And he's saying, look, I'm actually a hero here. I'm stopping them coming. Don't kill me. And obviously Sylvie's so angry. Sylvie kills him. See you soon. And it's like, that's the nice version.
What are we gonna get?
What the hell are we getting in Ant-Man? What the hell are we getting in Kang Dynasty?
But we're never seeing that Kang again. So your whole like, oh, I'm looking forward to what comes next. You haven't seen that dude.
But that argument, you know that argument lies a bit flat because we are seeing him again. We're just not seeing him again, which is what my point of the argument is.
Stop Kang.
Like, it's cool. It's like a foreshadow before. It's like a foreshadow of what's coming next. Jonathan Majors, like, just the intensity behind his performance, the kind of like, I'm talking like a joke right now, but my eyes are gonna kill you. You know, I just think it's so cool. I can't wait to see what happens next for Kang. I think, as an addition to MCU, great introduction. I think it'd be great, and I can't wait to see that. But
That's your number one.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
As that is our new entrance to Phase 4 our list. Some lists were better than others. Let us know who you agree with. Let us know who you would take out, because I don't know, some of these I don't know what I mean. But let us know down below in the comments if you like, and if you like the video, then subscribe. We have been the Overall Nerds. Peace.